Have you had a terrible start in FPL and you want to make loads of changes to your team? Well, if so, this video is for you because we're going to look at the best wildcard you can put together for Game Week 2. Okay, we're starting in goal and we've got a double up of Dubravka and Sanchez. Now, a lot of people were on these two goalkeepers already, but I don't think we saw anything in Game Week 1 that suggests that these two aren't good. Dubravka is a playing 4 million option. We now know he is the first choice at Burnley because he started in Game Week 1. Not expecting loads of points from him, don't get me wrong. However, a 4 million playing option is always just good. Sanchez, I still think that he's a very good option. I mean, Chelsea didn't look that great defensively at the weekend against Palace, but I also didn't really see anything that suggests that he is not going to be a good option. The Chelsea defence was never going to be one of the best in the league, but at 5 million, I don't really mind it. The fixture this week is West Ham away, which, I mean, West Ham really weren't good at the weekend. The first half, they were okay. I mean, they did put together a few chances. The likes of Juve, Bowen, Paqueta, Fulkrug did get into some good areas and create a couple of chances. However, the second half, they just completely capitulated and let Sunderland walk all over them, to be honest. They didn't really concede a load of XG. I mean, all 3 goals were kind of, 2 of them were keeper errors, I'd say. And the other one was low XG as well. But I still, even though West Ham played okay in the first half, I still think that that fixture's pretty good. So if you wanted to go with Sanchez this week over Dubravka, then fine. I mean, it's pretty close between them on who to start this week. But these are the two that I would go with in goal if I was on wildcard this week. On to the defenders. Now, it's pretty big at the back, to be honest. We've got Munoz, Murillo, Ait-Nouri. Ait-Nouri looks really good at the weekend for City. Now, Gvardiol was injured. He was out, so who knows if Ait-Nouri will definitely be a starter when Gvardiol is fit. You'd think he would be. We actually saw a different Ait-Nouri at the weekend for City. We're used to him kind of bombing down the wing and being this really attacking fullback. That wasn't really what we saw at the weekend. We saw Rico Lewis being the one who pushed up more from right back. And Ait-Nouri kind of had to deal with Keanu Hoover, the right wing back from Wolves. And honestly, Ait-Nouri was fantastic defensively. He dealt with him really, really well. And then Murillo and Munoz do play each other this week, which, I mean, isn't ideal, but they're both quite good defences, so I think it's fine. Murillo, I didn't see anything from Murillo at the weekend to suggest that he's not going to be a good option. The Forest defence was really good. Admittedly, the Brentford attack was absolutely terrible. So it's hard to say whether Nottingham Forest actually defended really well or Brentford were just pretty useless. I think it was a bit of both, if I'm honest. However, Murillo, when they keep a clean sheet, we know from last season that he is very good for bonus points. He got more bonus points than any other defender in the league last year. Forest defence looks fine. Going forward, he doesn't offer loads. Defensive contribution points in some games he will offer. Slightly more than Milenkovic, although they're both good for it. I just think that Murillo is a good option at 5.5 million and nothing's changed since pre-season on that. Munoz, this was kind of a fixtures thing to not go for Palace in Game Week 1. A lot of people didn't go for Palace assets. Did see some people on Mateta. A couple had Eze. And then I did see some Chris Richards. I've got Chris Richards in my team actually. I did bench him though. So I didn't get that clean sheet. But Munoz was standard Munoz. What we expect from him. Very, very attacking. I think Palace are going to be, if they can keep hold of Gehi, then I think they'll be pretty good defensively this season. Maybe even better than last year, if I'm honest. But we get Munoz for attacking returns, we know that. Then on the bench, we've got Dorgu. Now, Man United have some interesting fixtures. Obviously, Game Week 1 was against Arsenal, so nobody really wanted him for that. Game Week 3 is a lovely fixture, though. And that's partly the reason he's in this team, is because in Game Week 3, we can definitely play him. Don't actually mind playing him this week either. If you didn't want to play Munoz against Murillo or vice versa, then you could play Dorgu instead, which I wouldn't hate because he was getting forward very nicely, hit the post against Arsenal. And actually, Man United defended pretty well against Arsenal. Again, whether it was Arsenal not being great going forward or whether it was Man United just defending well, not sure. Probably a bit of both, but they didn't look too bad at all. Now Porro, again, Spurs look like they've really shored things up defensively at the moment. That is one of the big things that Frank has tried to do since coming in. Jed Spence mentioned it in an interview that they are really playing for clean sheets at times, and you can kind of see it. I mean, we expected a clean sheet against Burnley, and we knew that this Man City away fixture was coming in game week 2. From game week 3 onwards, for about 4 or 5 weeks, Spurs have got lovely fixtures, and Porro, with Maddison out, is going to be on some set pieces as well. So I think he's a fantastic option if you can just bench him this week. Onto the midfielders now, and not much surprise in here at all. One thing that is surprising, I guess, is that there's no Salah. I don't think we need to worry about one blank from Salah, to be honest. I mean, yes, it's kind of 2 because in the Community Shield he wasn't great either, but I just think it's Mo Salah. We know that he's gonna score goals. Yes, the goals might be a little bit more shared around the team this season with Ekatike, Verts, Gakpo, but I don't think that'll matter. I think Liverpool will just score more goals. So I don't see it being a problem. He's not in this draft, however. Bruno Fernandes is. Now, he did play very deep against Arsenal, but it was against Arsenal, so you would almost expect it. He also didn't hit the defensive contribution threshold. He was very close, though. I just think that he did set up a chance for Mbeumo. I think he's going to be absolutely fine this season. I think against lesser teams, he will be more attacking. Obviously, I've got the fixture wrong there. The fixture is actually Fulham away, the same as Dorgu's. But I think even in game week 3, Bruno Fernandes could potentially be a captain option. We'll have to see how Man United set up in game week 2 as to whether that is going to be a good option, how deep he is still against a lesser attack in Fulham. But yeah, I think he's an absolutely fine option. Cole Palmer as well. A lot of people are really cold on Cole Palmer. I mean, I do get it. He didn't look part of it really against Crystal Palace, but the numbers still suggested he was okay, and at the Club World Cup he was brilliant. I think that it's not going to go on forever that Palmer's just not going to do anything. West Ham away is the perfect fixture for him to come back and get something going, so I think he's absolutely fine. He's actually probably a good captaincy shout this week as well. Semenyo, he was one that I mentioned pre-season. He just takes so many shots. He is so good. He's exactly what we want as fantasy football managers. He just shoots on sight almost. And if you do that, you're going to score enough goals. I mean, yes, a lot of his shots are like low XG ones, low quality shots from outside the box. But if you shoot enough, you're going to score a lot of goals. And Bournemouth have some very good fixtures now that Liverpool one's out of the way. So I think we can definitely target Bournemouth as some players to look at getting in our team. Now, a lot of people did have the decision between Reinders and Anderson as their 5.5 million midfielder before game week 1. Turns out there was no loser in that decision. They both played incredibly well in their first game. They both played unbelievable. Tijani Reinders had one of the best debuts I've ever seen. He was incredible for the first goal, took the second goal really well, and then put one on a plate for Haaland for the third goal. Anderson got a big chance that he missed. He was on loads of set pieces. He got an assist. He was playing pretty high up as well. Both of them are just fantastic value at 5.5 million. Then we go on to the forwards. Now, we've still got Mark Goy on the bench because the rest of the squad is pretty good. I mean, there's no other real dead spots. Dubravka will be a dead spot most weeks, but you've got 5 playing defenders, you've got 5 playing midfielders, and you've got 2 forwards, so you don't need that 15th player. Doesn't look like he's going to get any game time anytime soon either. I mean, the first choice striker in Mayenda scored for Sunderland, then Isidore came on and he scored, so can't see him getting many minutes soon, but he's just fine as a dead spot. Haaland is in this team instead of Salah essentially, just because he looks so on it, doesn't he? And the fixtures are actually not horrendous. I mean, they're not great for City, but they're also not horrendous, and City just looked really good in that first game week, so gone with Haaland over Salah. You could do the opposite. I mean, as you can see, there's money in the bank in this draft, so you could just swap one of the midfielders for a forward and then go Salah and a cheaper forward. That one's up to you. Evan Nilsson is the second striker. Now, He didn't get a goal, he didn't get an assist in the first game. However, with Kluivert out, he is most likely to be on penalties out of everyone. Potentially Semenyo, but probably Evanilson. I just think that Bournemouth looked better than I expected going forward against Liverpool. And now they've got really good fixtures as well for the next 5, 6, 7 game weeks that I think doubling up on their attack is quite a good play. Kluivert will be back at some point soon, so the penalties will go away. But even then, Kluivert's not a 90-minute man. He usually comes off between 60 and 70 minutes. So we will see some time with Evanilson on penalties. Like I say, this draft does have 0.9 million in the bank. That's just with my team value. Some players have gone up in value, like Semenyo, Reinders. I've got Reinders in my team. I don't have Semenyo, which is why there's that 0.1 million difference. So depending on your team value, you might have 1 million in the bank, you might have 0.8. You could spend that. I'm not really sure where you'd want to spend that particularly. Maybe you could go from Evanilson to a Chris Wood potentially. That's actually probably one of the better ways to spend the money, if I'm honest. Chris Wood looked really good at the weekend. I mean, Nottingham Forest in general looked really good, but Chris Wood did look very, very good. But yeah, you can spend those funds however you like. But that's it for this one. If you did like the video, do hit like, do subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.